Hey guys, what is up? Redmaster here, and welcome back to another video. As you can tell by the title, it's going to be an exciting one. Now, we are only a few days away from the ARCHANON War set releasing, and as all of you may know by now, by the amount of views on my announcement video, that I will be showcasing showcasing the beta for ARCHANON War, showing you guys all the sweet new surprises that are in store there. But before we got there, merely a few hours ago, an announcement was dropped on to us via the Cards and Castles official Reddit. I don't know if you guys can see that; it's probably a little too bright, but we just got not even a few hours ago; it was like 10 minutes ago. But yes. The preview for ARCHANON War has been dropped by the developer, and with it comes new surprises, new mechanics, some card previews, and general patch notes listing the changes that will be made to the current collection alongside the set release. So, without further ado, let's try to break this down just a bit. Now, I'm not going to get into the new abilities such as drag, combo, dramatic entrance, and the new images, because that's stuff I'm going to go over when I'm showcasing the beta. What I'm going to focus on in this video specifically is the patch notes that were given to us. So let's first start it out here with this little message. The global mortarium, oh dear god, I'm not going to pronounce that, on direct castle damage has been lifted. So, as you guys remember from pre-Age of Dragons? I didn't pre-Monster Island. Yeah. Oh, my memory is slipping. But anyway, let's forget about that. Direct castle damage is now being reinstated. We did have that at one point back in some of the earlier versions of the game. However, it was removed due to the amount of frustration it caused players facing certain decks, like Warlock Crusader burn, and I mean that was really much it. Because it was so effective, it would just get the job done 1, 2, 3. And of course, that's been limited, but now it's returning, so we'll see how that kind of impacts the new game, or the new set version of game. Oh god. Now, what I want to say about this, in my own opinions, is I don't think we're going to be going back to that burn cancer that has been caused in the past. I think some of the cards we have now and the cards that we'll be getting sort of prevent that from happening, if you kind of get what I'm going for here. But, with that being said, I'm going to run down the cards that have been changed to implement this new castle burn, or castle damage. So, first change, I'm going to kind of go find the cards as I'm reading them off. The first one is Chaotic Storm. Chaotic Storm, according to this, will be increased to a cost of 2. Now, I think that's pretty fair of a change. If we're having 1 gold card to deal 3 damage, we aren't, or that should be a little extra gold to do that damage to the castle. Because, I mean, you could do a simple Peasant Rat castle damage sort of deal, or maybe have it affect the castle only. A lot of the RNG from Chaotic Storm may not even get you to hit what you want. So, I think it's a good thing to increase it to 2, just because now you have that potential for castle damage. Next, we're moving on to the Furnace. I'm just going to try and type in here. Now, this change is probably the worst one by far. No longer deals damage every turn, and the cost reduced to 2. Now, that cost doesn't make up for that huge ability loss. So by the change, we're still doing the 2 initiative damage, but we are no longer dealing damage every turn. So that makes Furnace kind of a dud. Although I see why they wanted to remove it, because if this can affect castle damage, trying to get rid of it is going to be a bastard. So, I think dealing 1 damage, that removing of the damage sucks, but ultimately necessary sacrifice so that we don't see those burn decks come back by the use of Infernal Furnace. Because if you have decks that solely bring out the Furnace and then protect it with a lot of guys, then, you know, that'll be 3 damage to pretty much anywhere and everywhere. So I could definitely see the Warlock Crusader potential if we have the dealing 1 damage every turn with the castle burn. So, but it does suck, because now Infernus is probably going to be most likely never seen due to it only doing 2 damage. You literally just throw out a building, 2 damage for 2 gold, and that's it. You no longer have to even worry about that card being destroyed, and it becomes maybe a guard. But again, not the best change. Next, we're going to Ice Weaving. Ice Weaving, you guys have probably seen, has already been changed. Yeah, it already has been changed. What it is now is what it was supposed to be the change. It's damage increased to 2. This makes Ice Weaving a lot more useful, because dealing 1 damage kind of sucked. But now that you're dealing 2 damage, now if you don't have that Shadow Strike, you could actually use it to create more damage. I know an increase by 1 isn't a lot, but sometimes you need that extra damage to finish off an opposing unit, so this damage increase sort of is one of those good changes that I feel like. And of course, freezing it, of course, when you don't kill it, it'll, you know, you'll have to get something out there. But any sort of damage increase can always be a good sign. So, next we move on to Flame. I think Flame... Alright, so its cost is going to be increased to 2, but it can hit the castles now. Similar change to the Chaotic Storm, it's just getting a cost increase, and I feel like that's fair. Because if you have the option to, for 1 gold, deal 2 damage out of the bat, that's basically like Salahar Spitefisher's Last Will. Just right there at the beginning of the game. So, good job on the cost increase. I think that should be fine. And you notice these changes are normally to cards under, or 3G or under, so definitely good that we're not seeing any big cards get those changes. Next we move on to Sunburst. No real change except that it can hit castles. Okay. Sunburst wasn't really a card that people used all that much in the first place, but if you want to make it hit castles, then fine, because usually that 5x5 area might as well deal 1 damage to the castle. Sacrifice. Sacrifice, I think, is getting a huge change. Its cost reduced to 0, damage reduced to 2. Now that's probably the old Sacrifice, I think, that we used to have, except the old Sacrifice did 4 and not 2, but definitely a good change. It can help trigger a Witch Doctor or a Nun, or even Dragons or Tarius Files now. So having that cost reduced to 0 can definitely get you some cards in your hand or buff up additional units on the field. And the damage to 2 I think is fair, because you don't want the castle getting 4 damage from a 0 goal. It's not worth it. Next, moving on to Dragon Bolt. Oh, shoot. Let me just type in Bolt. Dragon Bolt. Cost increase to 3 and can hit castles. If it's staying the same damage, then yeah, that should be fine. I think the dragon cost and the 2 damage is already reason enough for it to be 2 gold. And the fact that it can hit castles, it sort of deserves that increase in gold. So, good change there. And of course, you won't really see that being switched out of dragon decks at this point. I think that's going to stay in dragon decks. Even if it does cost a bit, about, you know, a gold or 2, 1 gold more, I think you'll still see it wield the same results as it does now. I'm just typing Eternity because I think the next change is Flames of Eternity. Cost increased to 4, can now hit castles. I think that's sort of somewhat fair. I'm still a bit unsure about this one, because you're dealing 2 damage, that's fine. You're adding a random Drake to your hand, that's also fine. I guess if it can hit castles now, then the cost might as well be increased, because you're dealing 2 damage to the castle, you're getting a random Drake, and possibly bringing out that same Drake in the same turn. So I think this is probably for the better that it got increased to 4. I think probably the Drake and the castle damage is more than worth it for that 4G cost that it's going to go up to. So, and again, I'm still a bit unsure. We'll see how that kind of plays out when the patches actually drop. And our last card that has been changed to implement this new... Oh shit, I dropped my phone. This new system is Swift Justice. Swift Justice is not really getting a change other than can now target castles. Again, similar to Flame and Chaotic Storm, that's fine. Actually, no, really compared to Sunburst. Because, no, well, that doesn't matter. But yeah, Swift Justice being able to hit castles now, that's fine. 3G for 2 damage and a draw is, more than reasonable. Alright, so that's all the burn changes that we're getting. Now, our next is enhanced, or I guess a new targeting kind of rule. Enchant targeting rules have been more streamlined for balance and gameplay purposes. Most enchants now only apply to melee combat minions. The following cards have had their targeting restricted to melee combat minions. I'll read you the list just quickly right now so I don't have to go looking for all these cards. Swiftness, Blinding Radiance, Flame Shield, Face of the Dragon, Meditation, Shroud of the Red Cloaks, Treasure Hunt, Dragon Crest Shield, and Rampage. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 cards that are getting this new targeting rule applied to them. And I think this is pretty fair because you can't have a building running around. Now, a lot of people were enraged by the whole melee combat minion versus minion thing. To me, it doesn't really make a difference. I know it should, but it just really doesn't click with me. Everything being a minion is sort of, it's a cosmetic name. I think the combat melee combat, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. You also have the ranged minions, so, and I guess the ranged are just being called combat minions. I think your melees are everything that's just gonna, hit and do retaliation, Manfish, Masuda, etc. But a good change because, you don't want your buildings getting auras, you don't want them running around, you don't want them getting any sort of attack. So I guess this is sort of like those changes where if you're making everything the same name, then at least have the buildings not be affected by certain spells, and this is what they clearly did here. So, good job on that. Basic card improvement. Now, these cards are all basic, so everyone in the game should have them. So let's see if these changes are definitely going to apply to everyone. So, Blazing Sword is our first card on the list. Change to 3 gold, give your combat minions +2 attack this turn. Alright, so we're limiting the Crusaders in terms of direct damage. We are now solely giving them a attack buff, and that's in the form of Blazing Sword. This could be nasty for Warlock Crusader Undead Swarms. You could see just a lot of them getting that +2 attack every turn, and that being a whole different story. But, again, I think that we'll see how that plays out in the future. Yeah, combat minions +2 attack. Yeah, I could see a lot of zombies getting +2 out of nowhere. So, we'll see. Next is Master Thief. Master Thief is now being changed. Ability changed to Invest. So it no longer is giving an initiative gaining 1 gold entirely. It's getting a new thing called Invest. And I think this also may apply to another card. Well, maybe not. Well, sort of think of it like Treasure Hunt, if you will. the current ability of Treasure Hunt is now what Invest is becoming. No, it's not going to give an attack buff before you guys flip out and think, oh, it's getting its own attack buff. Yada, yada. It's not. The Invest is now granting gold on the next turn. So Master Thief's Invest of 1 grants gold on your next turn. So instead of throwing him out, well, say throw him out turn 3, he comes out. You have the Invest, and then next turn it's going to give you that gold. So now instead of 4, you'll have 5. So interesting change. I think Plunder also got this ability change before I jump into it. I think both of these changes are fine. Plunder also got no. So the damage is staying the same. It also got the Invest, so no longer is going to give us a spell. It's going to give us a Invest. I think that's pretty fair. I was gonna say maybe you should have kept Plunder as is, because you know you're looting something, you're getting a spell card, but I guess you are gaining gold as well, so no big deal there. And of course, both of them are Invest of 1, so it's only gonna be 1 gold. Lightning Bolt is the next one. Chance you deal 3 damage. So it kind of already does 3 damage, but it's going to be increased to 3 gold, and you could select your target. So I think the selection target is now I'm gonna have like a word stutter here. The cost increase is what got this card. It's oh shoot, did I mess that up? Whatever. What I'm trying to say here for the 3rd time is that because of the selection process that you now can give Lightning Bolt, it's why this card's cost got increased to 3 gold. And I think that's fair enough, because, you know, 3 gold for 3 damage, sort of like a little trade there. You trade your gold to get rid of something earlier on. Possibly. Next we move on to Knockout, one of the cards that has been a recent pain in some players' sides. It's going to, let's see, cost reduced to, well, its cost is already 2, and the price penalty removed. Interesting. Oh shoot. So basically, Knockout's just going to be a thing where it's sort of going to be like a earlier mugging, if you will. It no longer will increase the card's cost that you send back. Still has the 3 attack or less limitation on it, but it's probably going to send out the card that you knock back quite earlier on. Say if I knock out a Spitefish, it's going to just come right back because it no longer has that cost limitation. Bit of a risky change here, seeing as how Knockout is already played in a lot of Pirate Crusader decks, so we'll see if players continue to run it now that it no longer has that price penalty. And finally, move on to the Peasant. Now, of course, you guys have already seen Peasant has been weird. Its text has been blurred out, and it's been reported a lot. But that's because he's getting a new. I should say it's reverting back to its previous state. What they say here is that it's being changed back to a basic 2/3 unit. So no longer will you get the Rat initiative from it. That's going to hurt Rat decks earlier on, possibly. But now it's just going to be a 2/3 Peasant that comes out. No longer will be countered by archers. Could probably counter the Spitefish. But yeah, I think this is good because we've already seen enough of Peasant being 2/1. Kind of runs around. It just gets annoying, in my opinion. And it's so easily counterable too, that it just becomes annoying to see them pop up over and over and over. But good change on bringing Peasant back to its roots there with the 2/3. Alright, now on to the last portion of this video, per se. Let's see, we're already at like 20 minutes, I think. So I'm going to run by this pretty quickly. First, Luminaries, the card that everyone's been, yelling about. Cost increased to 6. Alright, that's okay by me. It just delays the Luminaries bombs that you see. But we'll see how this change impact. I don't think players are going to stop using Luminaries because of this, but I think it gives the opponent more time to react when they see a knight come out, so they know they're not going to get bombed per se. Kaiju. Kinkajou, cost increased to 8. Alright, that'll limit some monsters a bit, seeing as how he kind of comes out, or it can come out turn 5 with the help of a merchant's favor. Yeah, that's an okay change. Nothing too big there. Titan Watcher, good change on Titan Watcher. It is now going to be a 6/5. Definitely what players have been wanting, as far as I am hearing, at least. I think 7/6 was a bit too strong for a 3 gold, so 6/5 is probably definitely more fair, more balanced than what it is now. Spitefish. Spitefish, speaking of, is going to be now a 2 gold instead of a 1 gold. That's pretty good. Spitefish won't be an auto-include now. You actually have to think about maybe swapping in something else, because now you're going to have to wait an extra turn before playing Spitefish. And sometimes can ruin that combo it has with a lot of late-game units. You know, pop out a Yarm and then a Spitefish to follow up. So it'll definitely, maybe, I think it's going to see limited play on Spitefish, just because, you know, people won't be able to pull off the same big guy followed by Spitefish combo. Crumble. Crumble has been reduced to 2 health. Pretty fair. I think 2 draw normally is what you could get out of Archive regardless, before it takes a damage, or it takes 1 damage, or it gets killed, so. And seeing as how most of the other buildings got changed to 2 health, I think this was pretty soon to follow. Pacifism. Its health buff has been reduced to 4 instead of 6. Alright, not that big of a deal. Usually pacified units were never that useful anyway, unless you had like a sacrifice combo going with undead. There wasn't really much that you could do when pacifism came out, so I guess reducing it to 4 can get rid of the enemy sooner if you want to just have the board controlled, but overall not a major change there. Next, moving on to Shatter Strike. It is now going to be 1 gold, right? Yes, instead of 0. That's pretty fair, because usually what players do is, at this point, Frozen Storm or Ice Blast followed by a Shatter Strike on something powerful. I think making it 1 gold should be more than enough to limit the play, but not stop it completely. You're still going to probably have some things like turn 5 Frozen Storm Shatter Strike, turn 6 Ice Blast Shatter Strike, but it sort of, I guess, if you could say, give it more time before your big guys will get shattered. Rally is also getting changed now, probably because of the Peasant change. It's now going to be 5 gold and summon 3 peasants. So instead of summoning 4 units for 4 gold, it's now going to be summoning 3 for 5. Definitely a good change, considering how Peasant now has that 2 additional health. You want to keep it so that you're not getting 4 gold, 3 peasants rushing down the center, because that'll be hard to counter in some cases, especially with all these other changes that are coming forward. Stables, just a health reduction of 2. That's fine in my opinion. Again, with the whole building thing being changed to 2 gold. No, not 2 gold. 2 health. I think Stables is just a matter of time. Same with Dragon Temple as well. Dragon Temple got a big hit, actually. Not only is it being brought down to 2 health with the rest of the buildings, it's now, let's see, cost reduced to 2, reduced to 2 HP, and the HP bonus given is reduced by 1, so now Dragon's going to be getting that 1/1. That's pretty fair, in my opinion. You'll still see probably Dragon Temples coming out in Dragon decks. They do help them a lot, but now that you're limiting the health buff, it's probably going to be a bit easier to deal with some of these dragons that are coming on, you know. Instead of a 4/5 Ice Drake, you're going to be getting a 4/4. A Shadow Drake becoming a 3/3, you know. They'll be easier to deal with than what you're seeing now. So, and then they say finally we will be releasing a new limited smaller pre-order bundle later today. I don't think that's up yet. Probably not going to be up. I think my screen crashed. Yeah, it did. I don't think that's up, but I'll probably check it out. I'm probably not gonna buy it too, because well, I'm not going to unless they have another additional little package with it. Oh, they just updated it. So let's see what it is. Okay, so now it's gonna be 30 ARCHANON War packs. For 7,800 silver. Let me just do some quick math to see what that amounts to. You're gonna have to probably buy $20. That'd be $25 really if you want to buy it. If you have 0 SP now, yeah, it's probably gonna cost you about $20. So it is smaller. 30 combined with 60. I could do. I'll probably make my decision later today and inform you guys if we are doing 100 packs or not. Maybe I should, because it's just fun. But regardless, we shouldn't clean that up. If you guys did enjoy, oh, before I get to the outro, we will be doing, I know I didn't do all of what it said. Shoot, did I lose it? Let me see. There was more to it. I know, the card previews and whatnot. But I think we're going to go over that more on Tuesday. This video is kind of already long enough, and I don't want to make it very long. It's probably going to be half an hour, so it's whatevs. So, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with your friends, and definitely comment down below what you think of the patch changes in the incoming set. Of course, make sure to come back Tuesday, where we go into part 1 of a 2-part video. I decided it is going to be 2 parts, the 14th and 15th. The 14th will be going over the rest of this preview, as well as some more cards and maybe a match or two illustrating some new some new functions. So, until then, guys, stay gaming.